Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Bills Roundtable, a victory Monday. And I understand we weren't here last victory Monday. I'll be completely honest with you. All of us had great excuses with the exception of myself. I just couldn't face you guys. I really couldn't, losing to the Miami Dolphins. But that is in the past, and this is the future. This is the now right here, folks. The Bills have improved to 7-3. Beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The roller coaster Josh Allen offense made an appearance. Haven't seen that in quite a bit. It was exciting. It was blood pressure altering, but all in all, we walked away with a win, and it feels so damn good. Z-Bot, what's going on with you, man?
Feels really good, Dan. Big W for the Buffalo Bills this past Sunday. I'm starting to wonder what these Buffalo Bills are, right? You're not sure what you're going to get from week to week. You dominate the Carolina Panthers. You get a massive W against the Kansas City Chiefs, probably their best collective effort on both sides of the ball. Then you go into that Miami game, and I still don't know what happened there. I mean, despite beating Tampa Bay, I still can't get the taste out of my mouth from that Miami game. One of the worst losses, maybe the worst loss outside of the loss to the Urban Meyer-led Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah,
it's up there under the McDermott Allen era. But this was a hell of a way to bounce back at home. Josh Allen in this one, right? We got a taste of the old Josh Allen, for better or worse. And this one, far more better than worse. 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. It was the full Josh Allen experience. But that's a good team the Buffalo Bills just beat. And that's a team that will likely win their division and, be in the playoffs, a team that was in the divisional round last year. So a big W for Buffalo, and they needed it because they're going into a short week here. They're still trying to chase the New England Patriots. They're still trying to chase that top of the AFC, which right now is just so open because you're looking at Denver at the top, and I just don't trust their offense. You're looking at Indianapolis, and we've seen down the stretch here Daniel Jones be susceptible to having a bad outing or two, and then that team just looks different. So it's still completely open in the AFC. You just got to find ways to win. Buffalo did that on Sunday in a pretty prolific way, so it was great to see.
And so I'll tell you what, guys, we need to take a moment and congratulate Z-Bot, man. He ended up welcoming his daughter into the world, and you know what? She might be the good luck charm for the Buffalo Bills. Of course, after my friend in the Bills Mafia, man. Oh, man, one of the best table breakings I have seen in quite some time.
The Buffalo Bills 1-0 with Zoe in existence.
On this planet.
So I'm thinking she's the good luck charm. Dan, you said it. You've seen enough. I don't think the Bills are losing again. So hopefully Zoe is that difference maker we needed. So far, so good. But yes, thank you. And thank you to so many. I mean, I can't get over the amount of people who have reached out, sent love, and sent their well wishes. So it means the world. And listen, Zoe, 4 days old. It only took her 4 days to see a 6 touchdown performance from Josh Allen, a 3 touchdown through the air, 3 touchdown on the ground game. When I was born, Dan, it took me 20 years to witness something even close to that. So we're off
spoiled
to a good
already.
start here. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Spoiled already. Jake, what up, man? We missed you, brother.
Well, congratulations, Z-Bot, first of all.
Thank you, brother.
Second of all, man, this is wild. What a way to bounce back for the Buffalo Bills, because not only did the Bills lose to the Miami Dolphins, but let's be real, that was an embarrassment. That game wasn't even close. So this bounce back is exactly what the Buffalo Bills needed. And to see the offense firing on all cylinders out there, 6 total touchdowns. It was a game of threes for the Buffalo Bills because they came into the game with 3 losses after suffering defeat against the Miami Dolphins. Josh Allen with this performance. So 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. That's only been done 3 times in NFL history. Josh Allen has done it twice. That's pretty impressive stuff. Awesome from the Buffalo Bills, all-around team effort offensively, seeing contributions from up and down the entire lineup, and 9 total pass catchers. You love to see everyone getting involved. Everyone ate yesterday, and the Buffalo Bills cooked up a victory. Let's get another one next week. Thursday.
God. Kev's here. Kev. What up, man? We just got done watching a great display of table breaking from Z-Bot's new daughter. What's going on?
Congratulations, Z-Bot.
Thank you, brother. Yep. She came out ready to rock. I mean, she went right through that thing. It was like a knife through butter.
Wow.
How many days old now?
5 days and counting. So she's off to the races. Yeah, and she's getting a doubleheader here. Bills twice in 5 days.
is already getting double headers and multiple shows already. What a man. What a
Unbelievable. The train never
Unbelievable.
stops.
You're already working.
Oh,
You should be taking a couple months of some child time.
I got to plan my
Congrats, dude.
timing better, right? The next time, maybe not Valentine's Day, baby. Maybe next time we do a Christmas baby or something.
Yeah, I think a little later, but yeah, awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
Dan, like as you look, I just tweeted today. They're always 6.7 wins throughout this point of the year right now, and the Bills are right there with 7 wins.
right there, brother. Oh, sorry, Kev. Sorry, brother.
You're good. You. I think I figured this out on the issue here. People are crashing out because of the New England Patriots and where they are in their schedule, their rankings, and where they're at. This is the same year we've always had. We've had some run defense problems. We've had some issues, wherever. Josh is turning the ball over a little bit. Like we've kind of always had that at some point in stretches of those years that you see there. 6.7 wins, though. They're right on pace or a little better than some past years. And Josh said it last week after the Miami loss. Like, I felt like we had bigger deficiencies in past years in certain areas. And right now, like, I think the crash out is the New England Patriots, but we've been there before with the Miami Dolphins 3-game lead. This New England Patriots team, 17th in the league in DVOA, 32nd in strength of schedule, 32nd in strength of victory. Like there's definitely some silver linings here, even if they get no Jamar Chase this week. Go figure, like another benefit to them. No Jamar Chase just got suspended for the game.
Of course.
Wild luck, guys. But I think that's what's leading to the crash out. But you're beating a reigning divisional winner by double digits, in which Baker Mayfield's playing some great ball, was in the MVP conversation in the first half of the year, at least. Maybe not anymore with his loss of weapons. Ultimately, the Bills are playing like, I just don't think Sean Tucker will beat you ultimately long run throughout 4 quarters of the game, even if he does through 3 quarters. So that's just kind of how they're playing football games. And as they grab the lead, you see things like Baker Mayfield turnovers. So it's just a matter of time with how they play roster. But I think the New England Patriots crash out is real on how they're kind of feeling as we kind of wrap up the first 10 games.
And you know what? Damn you, Jamar Chase. Like, you couldn't keep your composure. And now Joe Flacco and his old ass and just T. Higgins are about to go into are about to welcome New England.
If the Pats were 6-4, would the crash out be as bad? That's my question.
No, not at all. But I think one of the biggest stories here, and we have a lot of stories that we need to discuss, Josh Allen, man. And let me tell you what, the roller coaster offense was back. I'm not sure about you guys, but like I wasn't really bought in that Josh Allen was having a good game for a very long time during this. Like for some odd reason, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he had 3 touchdowns at one point, but in my eyes and in my head, I was just like, dude, he's playing awful right now, dude. Like worst interception I've ever seen. Another interception, like that one lateral he tried doing, like missing a couple of guys here and there, like overthrowing guys on the deep throws. But then like the second half, 3rd and 4th quarter, I look up 6 touchdowns. I'm like, dude, like this is 2020, 2019 Josh Allen. And I will remain true to this take. I believe that you're going to win 80%, 85, and maybe that's even being conservative, games the Joe Brady way, by running it through James Cook with Josh Allen playing efficient football, taking the underneath stuff and doing that. But when you come across a couple of opponents where they have one of the better run defenses in the NFL, I wanted it at least to be proven that we could also pull this out. And we could also have Josh Allen go nuclear downfield, which is demonstrated right by it's the Amazon NFL Next Gen stats.
The 2022 Josh Allen chart we see in front of us.
It's the 2022 Josh Allen type chart. So in my eyes, I'm glad that we were able to do this, because now I think that puts a lot of things on film that might be able to open up this playbook as we get into the end of the season. But thoughts, because now that people have seen this, they're all excited. They're like, oh my God, I think this needs to be our offense moving forward. What are y'all's thoughts on how the Bills should look at this game and how they should be shaping their offense for the remainder of the season? I'm going to start off with Z-Bot on this one.
Man, there's just a ton to take away from this. But I think right now, listen, the Buffalo Bills don't win that football game if Josh Allen doesn't reinvent the 2022 version of himself in that game. And I think right now, this is the Josh Allen the Buffalo Bills need. If the Buffalo Bills were to approach this game like they have in games past with a conservative nature, trying to dink and dunk the ball down the field, 7-minute drives. I just go back to last week against the Miami Dolphins, a 7-minute drive in the third quarter to kick things off coming out of half. You turn the ball over, you don't get points, and you're pretty much screwed at that point. By the time that they had dug the hole that they had and weren't able to put points on the board on that drive, they were really running out of time there, and they wound up running out of time. Obviously, it didn't go their way regardless. They allowed massive run after that point, but it showed you that they were not capable up until Sunday of winning a game where they were down by multiple scores and had to pass the ball in order to come back and win it. The only time they did it was that insane game week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. That's a game that you can't really use as a barometer because it's such an outlier. I mean, that's just a once in a lifetime type comeback. They have not won football games without being able to establish a ground game. So you're in this football game without Dalton Kincaid. Keon Coleman's a healthy scratch. It's the least productive that Khalil Shakir has been pretty much all season long. And you could not establish the run. And yet they still score 44 points. Josh Allen has over 350 all-purpose yards and 6 touchdowns. So they needed this version of him. And I think going forward, they might need this version. Look at 2 picks, fellas. The pick to start the game, one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. I mean, I don't even know what that was. And you're thinking to yourself, are we really going to answer the Miami debacle with this? Is this really how we're going to respond? And then you give it time and he winds up going absolutely nuclear. My point here is you're going to take Josh Allen throwing the ball backwards. You're going to take the shovel pass interception when you're also signing up for 6 touchdowns. You're signing up for that touchdown to Shavers where maybe 3 guys on the planet can make that play. You're going to sign up for this. And I think what we're looking at here is a version of the Buffalo Bills that is not risk adverse, where they're looking at this offense and saying, yeah, Josh Allen can take some risks. And yeah, you're going to lose the bet every now and then. You're going to throw a pick. You're going to have a play go wrong. But we have to do more than just sling the ball to Khalil Shakir on the side of the field and let him make a play or hand the ball to James Cook up the middle. Because if we continue to just do that, and you really saw it on Sunday, Todd Bowles took away the run game and they blew up that Khalil Shakir screen. I'm amazed up until this point, nobody's been able to take that away or at least attempted to. They did in this one. So if Josh Allen was not going to be capable of doing what he did on Sunday, they would have lost. Yet he was able to overcome and channel that older version of him. I loved it for as many reasons. I was with you, Dan. I'm watching that game and I'm looking at my brother-in-law. I'm going, dude, I've never been so confused in my life. On any given drive, you're about to see the worst version of 17 or a Hall of Fame version of 17. But when I'm looking at it in retrospect, I'm thinking to myself, this is maybe what this team needs right now. It's like a B12 shot, and the shot is basically just Josh Allen unleashing what he's capable of and not limiting himself to just kind of running a very conservative offense that, granted, allowed him to win an MVP and allowed them to have success. But right now, this is what I think they need, and I'm hoping they can build on this from here.
Yeah. For me, I just hope that we don't go back to like the Dable days where like we just completely ignore the run, like moving forward.
Right.
Like that was great. I love seeing it from JA-17. I want to see more games like that. And I think that there are going to be quite a few games going into the playoffs where that's the style of offense that we need to run. But for the love of God, if, for example, we're going up against a team that will struggle against a back like James Cook, like don't ignore that guy. Like, damn, we paid that man, dude. Keep on giving Cook his touches. But have no fear, Bills Mafia. We have a couple of some opponents where I think we're going to need a Josh Allen performance such as that. Jake, thoughts, man? Is this a preview into the offense we should expect for the remainder of the season?
I really liked what I saw yesterday from the Buffalo Bills offense, because I just want to start off with this. Let's do a vibe check, because entering that game, we're coming off a week where the Buffalo Bills put up 13 points against the Miami Dolphins, and that's after the Buffalo Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So the vibe check, entering that stadium, the energy, it was really a deflating feeling, the entire vibe, just a deflated Highmark Stadium after Josh Allen threw that first interception of the game. I mean, that the way that the Bills offense ended up responding was huge. And I think that the mental aspect just for this entire offensive unit, just having that type of response and going ahead and putting up 44 points in this game, that's huge. Also, I think having an offense that's able to stretch the ball down the field, that's able to make these big plays, Josh Allen putting up points in bunches, that's really important because we've seen that this defense, they're going to allow some points. So you might have to outscore your problems here moving forward.
Thoughts on that, Kev? Is this going to be the offense moving forward, or is it going to be based off of opponent?
Guys, it's a week-to-week league, and like I really stress that to any content creator that are all of us are very good and have all of our strengths and weaknesses as content creators, and even as like a fan. Like it's a week-to-week league. Nothing about us losing to Atlanta is that replicable outside of like if you think you're going to get bad Josh and stop the run and get no pass rush and like I guess. But honestly, it's a week-to-week league. The Patriots lost to the Raiders. This team that everyone loves right now. So if you really think about it, they designed a game plan to where they wanted to spread it out. So if we're going to knock separation data use separation data to knock Bills receivers, we have to say that same separation data put the Bills receivers in the top of the league yesterday. Terrell Shavers being number one in the NFL in separation data. So we got to like be consistent. So if we're going to use separation data, and sometimes I think it's flawed, like positively and negatively, like I thought it was a little harsh at times on what the Bills receivers were doing. And maybe it's a little positive about yesterday, but like they were getting open. Josh Allen was seeing them for the most part. And we're getting Brian Daboll days like of playing football right now. So don't think that like maybe Brady learned a little bit from Dorsey was a smart play creator. Like he's the current the current offensive pass game coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Pass offense is great. They have no issues with pass offense. Like he's really good at play creation and getting players open down deep. Like he had a lot of strengths, and why probably Josh Allen was like, yeah, I want that guy. But ultimately, like couldn't run the ball, didn't really have any intermediate to short game. Really was bad at calling screens. Like kind of all the reverses almost that Brady corrected. But I thought he studied a little bit under Dorsey, and I thought he pulled out some of those concepts yesterday, including the James Cook touchdown. Looked like a Dorsey play to me. The Shavers play and what was called looked like a Dorsey play to me. So I think he's learning, like, you guys want to see an explosive offense, we're going to put it on display. We can do many things. We're multiple. We're second in the league in EPA per dropback. We're second in the league in rush EPA. We can win in multiple ways. We don't want you just to shut down Cook and think you can win. Now, like, we're putting this on film. Go ahead and run into your deep zones to try to limit Josh Allen. Meanwhile, bringing linebackers up to stop Cook. So I think that they've shown now that they can be versatile. And Sean McDermott's lost like one game in December. So like until I see a pattern of multiple December losses, I think it was like 11-1 in the last couple of years. So until I see like a pattern of multiple December losses, I'll start to worry. But this thing's going to get interesting, and it's a tough game going on the road against the Texans. We'll talk about next show. But I'm ultimately very happy. To Z-Bot's point, though, like, can we stop talking about the turnovers? Like, I'm fine with not caring about them, but let's just not bring them up in terms of, like, you're going to get that kind of performance now. You're going to have 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 turnovers in a stretch of 4 or 5 games. Like, it is what it is. If we want to see yesterday's ball, which I think a lot of people do, you're going to get those turnovers. It's going to happen. Or we can do the Josh Allen MVP year, which everybody seems to already hate again after 24 games of it. Man, make your pick on what you want to see, but it's got to be one or the other. You cannot just have a perfect number one overall game plan all the time.
Yeah. And from my perspective, I could care less about back-to-back MVPs. I could care less about them anymore. He's already won it. It's great. I'm glad he did. And that was important to me last year. But now I can care less if Josh goes out there and like slings 3 picks a damn game.
12 interceptions a season then. That's
Worst case scenario, say that's the case. Welcome into it, man, because we have a division that we are chasing. Now, the downfield stuff was working, and I think perhaps a lot of it had to do with the personnel that was out there, right? Like we saw the return of Gabe Davis. We saw Keon Coleman benched based off of Sean McDermott's press conference a bit earlier. It sounds like he's not even confident that he's going to be able to play on Thursday. Who knows? I think he will. But what was the key difference? Why did it work so well this past Sunday compared to the rest of the season? I'm going to start off with Kevin on this one. What changed? Why did it look a lot different, and why was it succeeding? Thoughts?
I think you hit it a little bit with the personnel changes, but like Gabe Day, you just see it on the sideline. Like, I know we laugh about some of these guys coming back, like Jordan Phillips in his puffy coat and a couple of other things. But when it comes to like Josh Allen's trust of Gabe Davis is immense. He's going to him in high clutch situations already in his first game back, on fourth downs, in the red zone. Like, he's throwing it to him in pivotal throws. And beside the bullet he threw in the end zone, Gabe came through like the majority of the time. Like, that just adds a dynamic that you can't like account for. And I thought the deep passing game, even Hardman, when he wasn't making plays, was great. He fumbled it and got hurt, and then we didn't see him again. But I think just that stressing of having that kind of weapon really helped. I don't love Elijah Moore, so I liked him out of the lineup. And maybe Josh was pressing a little bit to Keon Coleman, and Keon wasn't producing. Like, that could have been some of it. But ultimately, you have a guy like Shavers cleaning up the reps of basically the Mac. He's really playing the Mac Hollins role, guys. Like, that's what Terrell Shavers is really actually playing. Like, those reps, he plays 4 phases of special teams. That's what they're getting from Shavers. And now that he's producing on offense, it's very similar at a much reduced cost. Now, can they develop the rest of the receiver room? I'm really interested to see Gabe's next step here, guys. I really think he's a receiver 2 in this league. He's still 26. He has this immense rapport with Josh Allen. He's making plays that they need him to make off script. I'm really excited for that addition, and I have been all the way around. At the price, Jacksonville's still paying that guy like $12 million. He isn't coming here for free. He just is getting paid by Jacksonville. So that's the thing to remember. This was a 3-year, $36 million receiver, and Josh Palmer already helped take some burden off in man coverage concepts, and it's been super helpful. This receiving core is much better, and this is probably the one Bean was like laughing about on WGR at one point, saying like there's some talent here, and that's without Elijah Moore not being good. So, and that's without Dalton Kincaid in the lineup. So that's ultimately what Brandon Bean tried to say to everybody. Dan was like, all right, I'm sorry we didn't take a receiver. They were all overrated. None of them are actually producing this year, if you really look at it. Like Tez Johnson and Emeka Ibuka, their 2 receivers are like the producing rookie receivers right now. So ultimately, Dan, that's what I think he was trying to say. These guys are getting super overdrafted, and like, I don't really see a spot here. And don't forget about our tight end and running backs out of the backfield. Ty Johnson proved yesterday what he can do when he's actually seen by his quarterback.
So I know it's a limited sample size, but I did see a tweet from Matthew Beauvais today, which said that out of 22 games that Keon Coleman has been a starting wide receiver on this team, we averaged 29 points. But the 6 games in which that he has not played, we have averaged 35.
Ooh, weird.
I'm not sure what you make of that. Okay. Was him not being on the field maybe a small reason as into why this team looked better?
Well, if it's going to give Tyrell Shavers opportunities like he took advantage of in that football game, then maybe. I mean, I could give a damn whether you're drafted in the 6th round or you're off the street. You're a first-round draft pick or you're off the street. You're putting up, if you are showing up and balling out and contributing positively to this football team, then get out there and be a part of the success. And that's what we saw. I mean, you were without Dalton Kincaid, which is the primary factor of this passing offense. They pretty much eliminated Khalil Shakir from this football game. I got Gabe Davis back. Right off the bat, he makes a massive catch. That slant catch, you might look at that catch and you might be like, it's just a slant. That was 100 miles an hour, fully blanket covered. And he wound up catching that football for a big first down early in the football game. Shavers, I mean, Allen gave him credit on that touchdown. That was an instinctive route. That wasn't even necessarily the play. By the time Allen had bounced around the backfield, he stepped up into the pocket, and Shavers read that and kept running to the end zone. That allowed Allen to get him the football for that insane touchdown, right? And then the utilization of the running backs. Thank God. I mean, what has been the holdup? You had over 120 receiving yards from your 2 running backs in this one, and that's what you want, especially when you're going into a football game against a good run D that has showed up. They took away the run game in this matchup. So, there's James Cook on a beautifully designed down the left field loft touchdown. There's Ty Johnson on the left side. Let's get him involved as opposed to throwing another screen pass to Khalil Shakir that everybody knows that is coming, or an end around. Let's try going that way. I absolutely loved it. And you're looking at this. Kevin nailed it. Gabe Davis, it wasn't like Brandon Beane wanted to ship Gabe Davis for the hell of it. He just didn't want to pay him premium wide receiver money. And you saw the Jacksonville experiment prove Brandon Beane to be right there. But if Brandon Beane, if the salary cap didn't exist, and at the time in which Gabe Davis's contract was up, Brandon Beane signing him back to that team 100 out of 100 times. The only reason he didn't do it is because he did not feel that it was warranted of the amount of money that he had coming his way, especially with how cap-strapped Buffalo is. But now you have him back. And the rapport that those two built, the reason why Gabe Davis got an insane bag from Jacksonville was because of what him and Josh Allen did together in big games, by the way. I mean, Gabe Davis had his best moments in the biggest spots, and he's off of an injury, and this is his first game back, and you already had a noticeable impact. I think you're going to see more of that. I don't think it should shock anybody if Gabe Davis starts to have a noticeable impact on this team moving forward, because it's Josh Allen's guy. And it would have been the guy if he didn't command the amount of money that Josh Allen allowed him to command by the time he wound up getting shipped to Jacksonville. And Shavers made this team for a reason. This was a guy that had to earn every single ounce of what he wound up putting out on the field on Sunday. That was not a guy gifted that role, and that was a guy that was more likely than not to not make the team. He had to ball out in the preseason to get to where he is now. He gets an opportunity. And now I'm looking at the Keon Coleman situation, and look, you've been given all the opportunity in the world, man. You're looking at a guy like Shavers, and you're looking at a guy like Coleman, right? Coleman, second-round draft pick, and you are being paved a yellow brick road here. You have just been drafted to replace Stephon Diggs and become the X-wide receiver to one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You haven't been able to capitalize on it. And in addition to that, when everybody's rooting for you to become something, everybody wants you to be the guy, nobody's rooting against Keon Coleman. Everybody wants this guy to work out. But when you now have 3 disciplinary actions on you in a year and a half and you're not producing, and then on top of that, the game you're out because of disciplinary actions, I got a guy who barely makes the team or earns his way onto the team far beyond being drafted in the second round and goes out there and leads the team in receiving yards with 90 and a touchdown. What else can you make of it, fellas? Like, if I'm McDermott, and I give McDermott credit, by the way, for putting his foot down here, you can't let these guys just do whatever they want. And McDermott made a point with this Coleman situation. You would go into this football game, fellas, thinking, we really can't afford to not have Keon Coleman out there. I mean, we don't have a receiving core right now that many people would argue can afford to just bench a guy because he missed a meeting. But he put his foot down, and you allow a guy like Shavers, who has capitalized on every opportunity he's been given, to go out and try and do it again. And guess what, fellas? He did exactly that. He's been given next to no opportunity during the regular season here. In the one spot he was given, he wound up going off and being Josh Allen's top guy in the football game. There's a lot to dissect here on what we saw on Sunday. And if I'm McDermott, if I'm McDermott and I'm Joe Brady, there's some conversations to be had about what we just saw on Sunday. That is 100% for sure.
And so you have to look at it from this way as well. Like, Gabe Davis, in my opinion, is just a better version of Keon Coleman, like based off of experience. And it's very difficult for me to even think of one personnel package that makes sense of having both of them out of the field at the exact same time. Let me know if I'm wrong here.
Dan, just real briefly I just want to inform like our listeners on the cap ramifications to the Jaguars. $6 million of dead cap on Gabe Davis this year, and number one right now for the team and probably a lot of the league minus a quarterback, $15 million in dead cap the Jags have next year off of Gabe Davis. This was a 3-year, $24 million guaranteed contract for this player. It's like getting a free, like, this is a guy that also knows your quarterback. You're getting a free receiver too. I have it on great authority. This is something I can go to the bank on. The Bills offering him $7 to $9 million in that range. Like, he was the signing. The Bills countered with Curtis Samuel and then also countered with Keon Coleman as kind of a replica of what they were like. All right, let's pair the two. We're going to get Curtis Samuel at the money amount, a little bit less. That's what we were going to pay Gabe, and we're going to get Keon Coleman to kind of replicate that receiver too. So that's what they were trying to. If they had signed Gabe Davis, they take a speed receiver in the draft last year. That is like kind of the how this piece of the pie is all going to. If they sign Gabe Davis, I probably don't think they have Curtis Samuel, and they probably take a speed receiver. Is it worthy? He's having his own issues. His production is like on par with Keon Coleman. So yep. I tweeted a couple days ago, this receiving draft last year was terrible. It was awful. Outside of a few caveats, obviously, Odunze came through. Neighbors is hurt. That's not fair. But outside of and Marv, I don't even know how you want to discuss Marv. And then like you look at it from a perspective of A.D. Mitchell's been traded. Polk is nowhere to be seen. Corley is gone. Like you're talking about massive, massive busts beside my guy, Lad McConkey. It's been terrible. So that's, and then BTJ just randomly is on the trade market and not doing anything this year. Super strange circumstance right now with that draft class all the way around from start to finish. But I think they have a different receiver in-house. And maybe even Ladd, maybe Worthy, if the Bills would have signed Gabriel Davis last year. And they're paying him a lot of money to catch passes here. He's a 26-year-old guy. Gabe Davis is probably back for the future too.
Damn, dude. Well, hey, Gabe, you know what, man? You might get your contract this offseason after all from Buffalo. Jake, thoughts on this wide receiving core? Man, like, what do you do with Keon Coleman right now? Like, do you activate him or ride the hot hand and just roll with what worked on Sunday?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how it is. Honestly, the thing, Keon Coleman, it's like, this is someone who he's second-round draft pick, but at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything. There's busts and there's hidden gems in the National Football League. So if you give someone else an opportunity to go do their job and they do it better than you, then that person's going to have an opportunity to take it and run. We'll see if the Buffalo Bills stick to their guns in keeping Keon Coleman sidelined or not. But I think that this kind of discipline for, you know, just carelessness, that's something that is important. Because at the end of the day, this is a professional, but he is a young guy. And I'm not taking it easy on Keon Coleman here, but I'm saying that there has to be that kind of discipline in place. And this is a learning experience. He can take it one way or he can take it another. We'll see what he does with that internally for himself. But for the Buffalo Bills, they need to put together the best unit to go chase after that Lombardi trophy. And whoever's going to contribute on the field, off the field, in team meetings, that's what you need to roll with. So right now, what I saw from Tyrell Shavers, Gabe Davis yesterday, it's an upgrade. Is it perfect? No. It was great yesterday. But it's an upgrade, and stick with it. Don't fix it. If it doesn't need fixing, don't fix it.
Coleman's 22 to Jake's point, so there's got to be some. He just turned 22.
But hold on here, because I got a reference, because to all of us, we would agree. Jake just said there's a lesson to be learned here. I think all of us would agree.
Yeah.
Apparently, Keon Coleman doesn't agree. I don't know if you guys saw his comments afterwards. He was flat out asked if there's a lesson to be learned here, and he said, "No, I don't think so." I mean, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't overlook it. I don't know how you don't look. I don't know how you look Shavers in the face and take reps away from him after the third disciplinary action on Keon Coleman, having not produced a single game like Shavers just did outside of week 1 in the second half against Baltimore. And then to double down afterwards. I know he said, got to be better, but he was blatantly asked, is there a lesson to be learned here? And he said, no, I wouldn't say that. I don't know, fellas.
Ziba, does he take the 10 million and walk? What's his play? The 10 million and walk from the rookie deal? Like what do you think his ultimate
Coleman's or Beans?
Coleman.
I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering what the strategy is here, because once again, if this was a one-off thing, this is the first time, right? Then whatever. This has now been a multiple occurring thing. Right.
What happened in college too, from what I understand.
That's what I've also heard. It's gone all the way back to Florida State. And then on top of that, you're not producing. And in the one game where you are benched for disciplinary actions, you got a guy on the practice squad essentially who makes the team in the preseason and goes out and outperforms any performance you've had outside of week 1 in one outing. I mean, I just have a really tough time being able to justify not rolling with what you just rolled up with on Sunday. Now, in terms of what they do about this, I have no idea. But I also have to think, too, I mean, let's be honest. If Keon Coleman has been going off this season, does McDermott bench him for what happened on Friday? My guess is probably not. So this to me reads far more than just, we missed a meeting here. I mean, this is the other thing, too.
Why did he miss the meeting? Was it family related, or was it because maybe he was told he wasn't going to play much?
Well, this is what's killing me, Cav, right? This is what's killing me. This happens when he's under the most fire he's ever been under. You got Steve Smith dropping a full 30-minute YouTube video on this guy.
Hit pace.
The Bills are coming off of a no-move trade deadline where everybody wanted them to make a move at wide receiver because they feel like the move made in the second round of the draft a season ago has not been adequate enough. And then, on top of all of that, all week long, you've been hearing how this needs to be the thing that has to this needs to be the thing that needs to work in order for Brandon Beane to sort of overcome the inability or the lack of moves made to try and address the issue. So it's really killing me, man. This situation is killing me. And I have to imagine over at One Bills Drive, there's a ton of conversations being had. If you went out there Sunday and they scored, 20 points again, Kevin, and maybe you don't think about it as critically, but when you go out there and drop 44 points and I see Gabe Davis making on a good defense, I don't know. I just think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to ponder on here.
I think it's like multiple though. Like if you look at it from a perspective of this whole, like, is one action from Steve Smith to the no action at the deadline, everybody wanting him replaced, and then maybe he was told he wasn't going to play. And like, I think that's not random, that's the practice you miss. Like, I just think that maybe he would have gotten a jersey, but ultimately I don't think he was playing.
But that's what I meant to bring up, by the way. The one thing I forgot to just mention, and whether, I saw Stevie Johnson defending him. So I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at it based on how it was being perceived by everybody else, whether or not it's accurate or not. But of course, that one route where Coleman's a decoy and he's seen walking down the field. Now I know that, he's been defended by professional wide receivers and maybe that's fine or whatever. I'm just saying that the public perception right now before this happened on Keon Coleman was not great. To pull this in the middle of all that, to me, is just mind-boggling.
Terrible. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, it's like you see Tyrell Shavers out there making plays, and not just making plays, but contributing, running down the field, making some big blocks and some big-time moments for the offense. So the contrast there between what Tyrell Shavers is doing as someone who's had the odds stacked against him compared to Keon Coleman, who's entering the league with, things being handed to him on a silver platter. Obviously, he had to work to get to the point where he was at, second round draft pick, but the contrast is real there. And I also think there's something to be said where if you're not fully in the team atmosphere, if you're not fully trusted, committed, locked in, it's going to be hard for Josh Allen to trust Keon Coleman on game day. And I feel like that's something that we've been seeing on the field before this went down.
And Billy asked, what's the domino effect? I don't know if that's to me or Z-Bot, but like, Z-Bot just mentioned it. Like the domino effect is you wanting to trade for somebody at the deadline, first of all, because of Keon Coleman's inefficiencies. You're missing meetings already. The fan base calling for you, Steve Smith calling for you basically to say you suck. The fan base saying you shouldn't be getting any snaps to an undrafted free agent UDFA. So like the domino of all those things that are happening in his perceived career early on, being compared to Worthy, maybe being compared to Ladd, like right back to back, like within 4 picks, these receivers were being taken. So ultimately, and then even Ricky Pearsall, who also has had some unfortunate instances, but the domino effect here is that all these compounding factors, everybody wanting a different receiver, even rental receivers. I'll throw a third and a fifth and a sixth and a seventh and an eighth at Shaheed. Like he was going to do anything different than Hardman. Like maybe he's a little better punt returner. Maybe he does a little more. Like he's still not even getting going with Seattle. Like ultimately, this is what people wanted. That's a domino effect. And did he miss a meeting just because he was, irresponsible, or did he miss a meeting because he was basically said, you might be there, but you're not going to play? And then that was his reaction to the news.
And if you're reading between the tea leaves, by the way, Josh Allen asked last week after Keon Coleman scored that touchdown against Miami, what was he asked? Do you think Keon Coleman's taking advantage of the opportunities given to him? You saw a long pause there, right? And Allen goes, he got one today. Did you see what Allen was asked about Tyrell Shavers and the way he responded on him?
Yeah.
Glowing remarks about him earning, what he's gotten up until this point. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know, but there's stuff to read into here. That's for sure. Especially when you got him being a healthy scratch a year and a half into being a second round draft pick for this football team.
And so I feel like you're on to something because you can read energy, right? And like as far as Josh is concerned, he's PR trained, right? But sometimes like you can't bottle up all the emotions, and you can't tell me that a pause when a question about Keon Coleman came up, that was just not pure frustration. So he's probably seeing it out on the practice field as well. He's probably seeing a guy that's not taking it all that seriously. He's probably very upset about it. And I mean, we'll see. Like I am also of the belief that don't fix what's not broken. Like having Keon Coleman and Gabe Davis active to me is completely redundant. Like, what are you going to do? Like, have Keon like on one perimeter and Gabe on the other? Like, no, like you're not taking
The only problem is you did just lose Samuel, and you did just lose Samuel's out. There's no way he's playing. He's not even practicing.
Yeah.
I saw you did just lose Hart.
Report. Yeah.
So
yeah. So he's probably going to be active, but I mean, we'll see how he's utilized. Maybe they shift him over to big slot on a couple of snaps. Who knows? Like when Shakir's not out there. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, guys, we need to give a giant shout out to our good friends over at Picasso's Pizza. Picasso's Pizza, #1 pizza in Western New York, 4 great locations in the area, and they're also mailing pizza to your front doorstep. As long as you go to picassospizza.net and you hit that nationwide button, simply type in your address and Picasso's will deliver. It's great for gifts. Of course, now that the holidays are coming around, give your friends and family a taste of home if they are away from the Western New York area. Shout out to Picasso's Pizza. We have a caller backstage, James Goldsmith. What's going on, man? What's on your mind?
Hi. Actually, defense is on my mind.
Okay, nice.
You know, the thing, so switching gears a little bit, we've got 10 games in the books now. Walker in particular has had to play way more snaps than I thought, but I really kind of like the guy as an individual player. He really looks great from a view test, but the defense has had so much trouble, and the line has been a different line every week. And Milano and Bernard have been hurt basically all year, so they're not giving the line that much support. Can I get your views on A, what do you do with the line for the rest of the season in light of who's out, who's not out, et cetera? And B, what do you think about the individuals now that we've had a chance to see some of them? We haven't seen much of Ogunjobi yet, but he's there and he's a known quantity. We've seen a lot of Walker. We haven't seen that much of Sanders. Landon Jackson's nowhere. I'll turn it over, but can somebody tell me what you think about the line?
Fix it, help it, help it, man. He's probably talking about the run defense. We saw an undrafted free agent cook this defense yesterday, man. Tucker was going off, man. He was having a day. If Tampa Bay were to win that game, he probably would have been offensive player of the week. And for the NFC, man, he was having a field day. It's funny, like how the conversations of the defense have all but shifted. Like with the rise of Cole Bishop and the efficiencies of Jordan Poyer looking a lot better than Taylor Rapp, I would almost argue that safety might be one of our strengths for the past couple of weeks, right? Like Bishop's out there like a man possessed. I'm not sure about you, but one rep that I watched, I think it was a Baker Mayfield run. Maybe it was Tucker, but Bernard was out there running like he had ankle weights on, man. Like, dude just looked so methodically slow. And like, he's already admitted that he's playing through injuries right now. I also think that Buffalo really didn't intend on having this defensive line. I mean, hell, like you have Ed Oliver, like he's out for the season. We saw some video with
5 defensive linemen on IR. I mean, what can you do? Yesterday, Sanders came off, so it's now down to 4. But I mean,
you have that. And you had TJ Sanders playing edge. And so a couple of times, like last game too. And the game before that, you saw Daquan Jones out there taking some reps on edge. You have Joey Bosa playing with, and so you have Joey Bosa out there with like one hand. Like I'm surprised he's even limited today, although that it's a walkthrough. I mean, dude, I hate making this my take because I think it's lazy, but I feel like based off of how many guys are on the IR right now from that front, sometimes the best defense is just an offense that can put 40 points on your face. Like that's kind of where I'm at right now. I wish I had more answers than that. Z, thoughts?
The run defense is what it is. I mean, they found a way to step up against Rico Dowdle and that Panthers team in that game. I thought that they were going to do what the Tampa Bay Bucs did against them yesterday. I mean, I thought Hubbard and Dowdle were going to go out there and go nuts, but the Bills wound up putting on a ton of points on the scoreboard. They sacked Dalton 7 times, and by the time the Panthers looked up, they really couldn't run the football the way they probably intended to because they were getting shellacked, right? You just had a third string. Basically, you had a third string undrafted player look like Barry Sanders against you in that football game. And this is a recurring theme here. It doesn't matter whether it's Derrick Henry or it's Sean Tucker. There's going to be a moment in the game where you're susceptible to allowing a 40 to 50 plus yard touchdown against you on the ground. Achane did it multiple times last week. We saw Bijan Robinson, of course, do it. We saw, of course, in the Ravens game early in the year, all over them. In this game, once again, they are who they are. I mean, you look at the Panthers game, and that's the outlier. And I think a lot of that had to do with the Bills getting a massive lead in that football game, and the Panthers also had no ability to throw the football. You're going against an aging Andy Dalton and an offensive line that couldn't stop Buffalo. You're going against Baker Mayfield here, who was leading the MVP voting just a couple of weeks ago, or the MVP odds in terms of betting. So it's apples to oranges almost in comparing those games. If we're looking at it in totality, this Bills run defense is just, it is what it is. This is why when I look at the playoffs, the team I want to avoid the most would be the Indianapolis Colts. And it's got nothing to do with the quarterback. Oftentimes you're looking at who you're playing quarterback wise. I'm looking at that team and I'm looking at Jonathan Taylor. And that's a guy that I think with the way that they've been playing offense could go absolutely insane and will almost win the game single-handedly for them offense, despite what Daniel Jones does. We see the Bills being able to step up against Mahomes in that offense, despite not being able to beat him in the playoffs. We know that they match up well with them. And for whatever reason, even though the Baltimore Ravens can run the ball better than anybody, they just find a way to get things done against them. Right now, though, you mentioned it. Cole Bishop has been phenomenal. Everything you would have hoped he would have been, drafting him in the second round. He's been terrific. We're seeing Maxwell Hairston off of IR really developing into hopefully being the first round draft pick that's going to take over back there. This run defense, though, the best way to put it, I just think it is what it is at this point. You cannot rely on this Buffalo Bills run defense to shut down the opponent. The opponent. It's just going to be this way. Can you force turnovers? Yeah. Can you shut down the pass game? And like you said, Dan, can you put points up on the board on the other end?
And so at this point, man, just rush 3. Like, just rush 3 on third down. just do it. Like, do what they were using Dorian Williams for, where he was sitting back, like, as like your spy type player. But that seemed to be a thing. But as far as the secondary, like, that's been pretty damn good. Like, we held Emeka Egbuka to like 5 receptions for 40 yards. And like, while I was watching that game too, like you hear like, oh, like I haven't seen Maxwell Harrison out on the field at all. He had 50% of the snaps. That's a good thing, right? Like that's a great thing. If you don't hear Max Harrison's name out there, he's doing his job. And I guess Benford must have did pretty good too. So it's just something we have to accept. Kev, go up.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember is like, this is how Sean McDermott kind of builds at least regular season defenses. And he kind of adjusted in the playoffs, and rightfully so against some opponents. And still, Mahomes is Mahomes and gets him. I mean, that's really who gets Sean McDermott in the playoffs. But if you look at it from a perspective of the regular season and this game, can you do more than Sean Tucker did? Like, and the Bills still feel pretty confident in their ability to limit the passing game. And it sucks sometimes to watch. But the Bills will ultimately say those long runs affect one drive. They still stopped them in 6 drives yesterday. So if you really look at it from a perspective of like, all right, their second and third running backs are going off. Like, Tucker was feeling it the way that the game was going. The Bills were still playing for Baker Mayfield MVP candidate at one point, coverage responsibilities. So it's not an excuse more than it is like, we think that we can win most games where your quarterback goes under 175 yards. Like we really feel that way. And it doesn't always come true, but ultimately that's how it's built. And the way that they covered yesterday was really, really strong. Like Cam Lewis was making plays. Terrell Bernard was good in coverage, just bad against the run. So that's kind of who he is right now, at least with this injury. Like he's played okay in coverage, and he's just not. He's knocking. The Bills are like the number one team in the league against the tight end. So like there's definitely some positives here, especially if Benford gets back on track. So I think it's like you got to pick your poison. And the Bills have always, Sean McDermott has always said, like, we want to stop the run, but we really do focus on what we think we perceive to be the best player or the best quarterback. And that's how he kind of defends like their Patrick Mahomes, rightfully or wrong. That's just kind of what he does. And when push comes to shove, the Bills would probably still rather see Daniel Jones in crunch time like he did against the Pittsburgh Steelers than you would some of these other quarterbacks, maybe even Drake May, even though the Bills had a pretty decent game plan, limiting Drake May to 0 touchdowns when they played.
Oh, good God. And what about you, Jake? Some thoughts on the defense, man?
So I think right now we're entering week 12. So when you look around the National Football League, teams by this point in the season, they have their identities, they have their deficiencies that are well known. And the Buffalo Bills, their identity is not to stop the run. That's a deficiency for this team. We're just going to have to deal with it. The trade deadline's passed. There's no big move coming. The Buffalo Bills, there's not really, they could get some reinforcements through free agency, but that's not the focus right now. The focus right now, You got to outscore those problems because you're not going to get one of those top-notch players to come in at this point in the season. So you need to outscore those problems. This has been touched on before. Outscore those problems. The identity for this team, you have the MVP at the quarterback position. You have Josh Allen. You have James Cook. Last year, everyone eats. Hey, you're going to have to see everyone eat on the offensive side of the ball. You're going to have to put up the points in order to outscore those problems. The defense, they get turnovers in timely moments, but we need this offense to fire on all cylinders in order to win some of these games down the stretch.
My question for the panel, and you guys can answer it this way, on Jake's point, like the offense scored a ton of points that I didn't think played particularly well for stretches of the game, especially early on. So my question is this, like this was a perfect example of still winning by double digits when A, they're running the ball efficiently. B, they had over at one point at the end of the third quarter, they had a 15-minute advantage on time of possession. C, they got 3 turnovers, one off a punt return after getting stopped back in their own zone. And also probably getting the game put away then. And also a couple of boneheaded Josh Allen throws and a bad throw on 4th down that he had guys open and forced it. And it was a good play by the defender, tipped and intercepted. But 3 turnovers, not really committing many penalties at that point. I mean, Tampa may have ended up with 2 penalties for 30 yards. One was late in the game on the face mask. That was a face mask. But other than that, 2 penalties, 3 turnovers, ran the ball however you wanted, had the time of possession, and still lost by double digits. So they had a lot of things go right in that game to prevent it from being more than a 12-point victory. So that's the kind of thing Sean McDermott will point to and say, I had my quarterback turn the ball over at times, weren't great stopping the run, penalties weren't on our side, had a fumble on a punt return. When we had just made a stop on top of it, we're probably going to maybe run away there, and limited Baker Mayfield. They did exactly what they wanted to do, was come in here with limited receivers and shorten the game, had the time of possession, and still lost. So that I still think is a testament to like what they're able to do when it matters. Because those things are exactly how you beat the Buffalo Bills. Those are exactly how you beat them, and they still lost by 12.
It's how you beat most teams. I mean, in reality, right? I mean, it's crazy to look at a lot of what you just mentioned and factor in that the Bills scored 44 points and beat them by 12. The one thing I will mention that I still can't get over, if I'm a Bucs fan, not going for it on that 4th and 2, down 37-32. I got a buddy who's a massive Bucs fan. He disagreed with me at the time because I think he just wanted to talk himself into that being the right move. That was a shootout game, and the Bucs at that point could not stop the Buffalo Bills offense worth a damn, and they didn't on that drive. The Bills went right down the field, scored a touchdown. By the time the Bucs touched the ball again, it was around the 2-minute warning, and it was over. So that's one other thing to factor in there, too. I thought Todd Bowles did them a huge disservice at the end. And then one other thing, the Buffalo Bills special teams in this football game. Wow. The kick returning in this game was unbelievable. It really flipped the tone of the game. It was.
Unsung hero.
Wasn't it the most yards ever, second, third most ever from return yard standpoint? It was something. It was top 5. It was top 5.
Right, they
covered it really well. Outside of that one muff punt, and Wisnowski was really good. We finally got some punting in this at the limited times they did punt. The special teams was amazing in this game. I think it actually catapulted them all the way into the top 15 of special teams units. If you're going to get that special teams play from Dorian Williams, from Terrell Shavers, from your return game, you're going to win football games. And even with that muffed punt, without that muffed punt, it was literally perfect. And they had a blocked field goal on him. Like, let's talk about the phantom call there. Like, he got called for touching. Like, if the guy's going to go low, you were definitely allowed to touch him there. So that's 3 points off the board. So that's another thing to throw in. The Bills blocked a field goal to end the half that also didn't go their way. So everything went Tampa's way for 3 quarters in this football game. It truly did until the 4th quarter and Josh took over. Ultimately, G-Bot's right. This is how you beat most good quarterbacks. But specifically this team on the road, they tried to shorten the game and weren't able to do it. You'll take a game where you think Sean Tucker's going to beat the Buffalo Bills. You really will. You'll take that.
Yeah. No, man. And you know what? As far as like some of these gaffes happen with this team, sign me up. But you know what? I've been kind of looking at like conference standings, and maybe I have busted out in the ESPN playoff machine. And so I'm not sure if you boys have yet. All right. Yeah. Oh my God, man. Listen, I might sound delusional. And why I did it was because I saw the Kansas City Chiefs fall to 5-5. Okay. And I ultimately also ended up seeing that all 3 teams,
Dan. They're still a 6 seed, the Chiefs. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. But all 3 teams that are currently in the wild card standings, as you see it right here, all have the tiebreaker over Kansas City at this point. Kansas City's going to Indianapolis next week.
They're in trouble, man.
I don't know. Can Daniel Jones get it done? So I'm going to ask you guys this, all right?
Off a bye, by the way, Indy.
Off of a bye as well over in Indy.
Mahomes is going to go to 5-6. You guys are freaking crazy.
Dude, would you have thought he would have lost?
Crazy.
Would you thought he would go 0-5 in one score games and be 5-5 and 4.5 behind Denver?
It's an ultimate regression from last year. I didn't think they'd go 12-0 in one score last year.
No, that's true.
Dude, it's wild to me, but like if there's a world where Kansas City doesn't make the playoffs, and this is my delusion speaking, and this is not backed by any advanced data at all, but I just feel like that's the year we get to the damn Super Bowl, man. I can care less about the narratives. I don't care about the narratives.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a shit.
You think
be like, Kansas City wasn't in there. It doesn't count. Fuck you. Yeah, it counts. All right. All right. But wrapping up the show, I'm curious right now. Right now, we have the Patriots are 9-2. They're going to Cincinnati with no Jamar Chase. Go figure. I'm curious. If you were a gambling man right now, what seed is the Buffalo Bills going into the 2025 playoffs? It's time to get ballsy here, folks. Receipts will be taken on this, just to let you know. All right? Starting off with Kevin. Kevin?
Oh, you doing me dirty of all times.
Kevin, I'm doing you dirty, man. Talk to me. What seed are the Buffalo Bills this year?
You know me, I got to stay consistent to the odds percentages. The Bills still have a very, very large odds. So actually, the AFC East is like the most likely to easily have the 5 seed. So that's just the numbers. And the numbers say that almost 75% that either the Patriots or the Bills will be the 5 seed. It's like pretty rock solid. So ultimately it is, do you think the Patriots lose enough games down the stretch is the real question, where the Bills get the 1 or the 2. But like, maybe it's time for a different path. Maybe the Bills stick at the 5 seed and they beat the Steelers and maybe still can host a home game, because I truly don't know if that the Colts and Patriots are 100% or the Broncos are 100% going to win wild card round. So like, this thing could get super interesting if the Chiefs are able to stick in at the 6. What a matchup to get, even if they're down a little bit, to get the Chiefs as the 7 seed. And you finally get the 2 seed. You're feeling like great as the Broncos. You're feeling great as the Chargers or the Patriots. And you have Patrick Mahomes coming into your building in the 2-7 game. And you're feeling great about that 7 seed. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I ultimately still think it could be some form and fashion of the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs in the divisional round. And take your pick of the Colts, Patriots, or the Broncos. Like, I really think that that's going to be the division round. I got him as a 5 seed, Dan, at this stage. And maybe it's time for a change. I just think the Patriots schedule, they're getting luck after luck after break after break. They get the Bills off of a bye. Like, it's just breaking their way. And maybe they lose a game to the Ravens later on when the Ravens need it or something. But ultimately, that Dolphins loss really did hit them in the division race to be the 5 seed. I got the Bills as the 5 seed and possibly making a run at this a little bit differently than normal, and maybe a little bit less expectations, especially with some of these teams that are going to miss it.
And let's just hope that the Steelers can, maintain it with Mason Rudolph, because, with Baltimore is on their way right now, folks. They are on their damn way. I wouldn't want to be going to Baltimore.
Though.
No, no. They definitely did it. Yeah. But hey, they are finding ways. Jake, prediction time. What seed is the Buffalo Bills?
My man, I hate to do this, but I got us in that 5 seed wild card, because here's the thing. It's like, you look at the New England Patriots right now, their remaining schedule. I just don't see them losing the games that would be required for the Bills to catapult ahead of them and win the division. The Bills could very well handle business and take care, go on a run here. They could win out. It's a possibility. But the New England Patriots, I just don't really envision them losing the games required. They've been consistently beating the teams that they need to beat and that they should beat. Until that changes, I got the Bills in a wild card. But you know what? That could be something. It just might be a good thing. I don't know. It's weird. You want to have that home advantage locked up. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens aren't even in the playoffs right now. So I'm thankful to be in a wild card spot. Just the way that this season's been unfolding, it's really weird. It's backwards. And it might just be the start of something special when the Buffalo Bills, if they get in that wild card round, imagine a first round date at New England. That'd be something.
I
That'd be something.
expected Jake to say the 1 seed this time. He usually hits it hard. But to couple that,
I was hoping he would. I wanted him to feed my delusions.
40% chance at the 5 seed. That's astronomical after 11 weeks of football. That's astronomical. And the likeliest opponent in a 37% odds, Bills versus Steelers in the first round in Pittsburgh. So those numbers are
not that, it's going to be Baltimore likely, right?
The numbers are it's like 21% that it's Baltimore. So those odds are astronomical that game exists. It might not happen, but those are really big for 11 weeks, guys.
Say that this was the case. Oh man, we would probably end up, say that this was the playoffs. Like we would probably say that we ended up like beating Pittsburgh. So the next one would probably be Denver. I mean, not unless like LA could go on ahead and just end up beating, like with Indy or something, or like with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I just don't think the Jags hold that 7 at the least.
No.
The Ravens and the Chiefs,
they are
100%.
For me, oh my God, dude. Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. All right. I've put my neck on the line before. The creator of the greatest story ever told. I'm just kidding. I have the second seed for the Buffalo Bills, as a matter of fact. I don't think that we lose another game, and I think we beat the Patriots, and the Patriots drop 2 in a row to Baltimore right there, which ends up putting us above them.
So you have winning out and then losing the 2. So
yes,
that gets it done.
Yeah. So I have us winning out. I have us beating the Patriots, and then they lose to us and the Baltimore Ravens to end the season. And
that is almost precisely what you need to happen in order for the Bills to get into that situation. You need New England to lose to Buffalo. Really, Cincinnati this week would be absolutely massive. And then Baltimore. I got, even in my simulations where I have the Bills going 13-4, I mean, they're still that 5 seed. So Dan, what you're saying right now is basically exactly what has to happen.
Yeah, exactly. That, I mean, who knows, dude? Like, there's been a lot of parity around the league so far. Like, maybe Jackson Dart goes off and has a career game, right? Because let's not remember, look,
not wrong.
England Patriots just lost Milton Williams. He's on the IR. Like, that's a big miss for this team, especially on their defensive side of the football. So I'm curious, man.
I got this for you, Dan. I think here's my prediction. I think the Chiefs go in and beat the Patriots in the 2v7 game in Foxborough in the playoffs. That's my prediction.
I don't know if I like that either.
Funny enough, dude, I know that the world would crowd, of course, outside of Bills and Chiefs, if the AFC Championship was the 5th and 7th seed Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs.
Would you sign up for that right now as a home game? Would you sign up for it right now?
Would I bet that that's the case?
No, would you sign up for that right now?
Bills Chiefs AFC Championship
in Buffalo,
yes.
5 or 7 or 5 or 6, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've kind of envisioned that same scenario.
Doesn't matter.
It's unfolding because it's like even if the Bills get in as a wild card, if the lower team win, it's just the way.
Could you
that
imagine hosting the Chiefs as the 5 seed?
It'd be weird, but it seems right.
And the entire world would be so infuriated. Like they would be so infuriated if that was the case.
I'm sorry, I just don't buy the Chargers being able to beat them in the playoffs. I just don't. I'm not going to.
Especially with that offensive line, man. With that offensive line.
Did you watch them yesterday? I mean, holy!
He got benched.
Oh, what the hell was that? This is an insane year. The Broncos right now are 9-2, and I could not put $1 on them to win a football game.
No,
so it's just insane.
The thing about playoff football, the quarterback is so important.
Sure,
and the quarterbacks that are ahead in the division lead, like you got a lot of these younger guys that you haven't seen exactly what they can do in those big moments in the playoffs. So I think it's natural to bet on a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, regardless of being a wild card.
And Jake's point is clear because this Colts team reminds me so much of that Titans team that got the 1 seed with Derrick Henry running wild and loses in the first round of the division round off a bye. Like ultimately, got to have the high level quarterback play. You can win a single game in the playoffs, dominating defense and dominating running. Until I see it, like got to be like the Eagles, to where you have premier receivers, still a good quarterback, even if he isn't playing great at this minute, and like a great defense and a really good running back. Like that combo is fine for me. not going to buy the quarterback. I can't buy teams right now like the Broncos and the Colts. I just can't do it.
So half of the reason why I think I'm so locked in on us winning the division is that I did put my hair on the line. And so I'm not sure about you guys, but I did bet Colby that if the Patriots were to win the division, that I would shave my head. So
hey, you got
buzz cut's coming, baby. A buzz cut's coming.
You believe in your squad, and look, there's no shame in that.
Dan, we were down 3 games of the Dolphins with 4 left. There was like literally 7% chance.
And they lost that insane, what the hell did I just watch Titans game? Yeah, so anything's possible.
Where it was like, wasn't it wild? Like the game itself was even wild. Like it took like,
dude, the game was over and you blinked and all of a sudden like, wait a minute.
Fumbled. That's right.
Yeah.
They fumbled.
Yeah.
On a running a 4-minute drill and they fumbled.
Good God.
It was ridiculous.
Crazy.
Well, folks, I can tell you what, there is currently 155 of you watching right now. Welcome, man. I'm glad you guys are tapping in with us over on the Bills Roundtable Monday and Thursday. I can guarantee you half of you are not subscribed to this channel right now. I can guarantee that. So do us a favor, subscribe and turn on bell notifications. And also do us a favor and hit that thumbs up sign. Moving forward, if you ever see a moment where you see a particular amount of viewers watching, it could be 75, it could be 150, and the like button doesn't match, ruthlessly bully everybody in the live chat until that comes to fruition, folks. Help us out. Let's propel this out to the YouTube algorithm because we're live Mondays and Thursdays unpacking everything Buffalo Bills related. Z-Bot, what do you got to say to the audience before we send them off?
Big W, short week. Back Thursday against the number 1 defense in the NFL. Surely the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. A place the Bills have struggled. A team the Bills have struggled against. Huge game. 8-3 on the line. Cannot wait for it. And also appreciate everybody tuning in today. And once again, I just want to reiterate everybody with the outpouring of love with the birth of my daughter. I can't thank you guys enough. It's been overwhelming. So thank you guys so much. And look forward to getting after it again on a short week Thursday night. Big game against the Houston Texans.
Big game indeed. What do you got, Jake?
Yep. Short week for the Buffalo Bills. Short week for me as well. I'll be heading down to Houston. H-Town takeover. Hope to see some of y'all at the Fans of Buffalo tailgate. It's going to be electric. Some table breaks and hopefully a victory for the Buffalo Bills because when you look around the NFL, it doesn't matter what's going on in the landscape. Obviously, the playoff seeding, it's going to be what it's going to be, but you got to handle business. Handle business. Fight for your right to party. Let's get a win. Handle business. Have fun. Be good. Do good. God bless. Go Bills.
Love that. Kev, what do you got, man?
And congrats again to Z-Bot. It's an amazing feeling. I know with my little daughter, she's already 3, but I know how that goes. So enjoy every minute, dude. But ultimately, like, guys, this is where it's made of. Bills are really good in December. Not December yet. We're going to see Davis Mills. We'll talk about this on Thursday. There's a lot to get excited about. They're also missing Jalen Petrie, 3 interception for him, one of their better safeties. So and they struggled mightily against the Titans, should have lost. So I'm looking very forward to finally getting rid of the demons of Houston and being 1 game back already of New England. Dan, you're not done yet on the buzz cut. You're not done.
I'm not done on the buzz cut, baby.
It took a back-to-back win if it happens against Tampa and Houston, but you're not done as of this minute. And then you get Rodgers off a broken wrist. It's again interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely, man. This league is absolutely nuts. Folks, we appreciate you tapping in, and we'll see you on Thursday to preview this Houston Texans game.